Let's try foundation paper piecing with freezer paper. In a previous video, I showed the traditional way to do foundation paper piecing, where you stitch through the paper. When the block is complete, you tear the paper away. And in our last video, I showed a no-tear paper method where you use regular printer paper and a glue stick. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to do foundation paper piecing using freezer paper, which is another no-tear method. And this is great for those that don't like the part where you have to tear the paper away. So if you're new to patchwork and quilting, you might be wondering what freezer paper is. I was introduced to freezer paper about 30 years ago, and I was really confused by the name. I thought, what does a freezer have to do with patchwork and quilting? Anyway, I was told that in America, it's a product that is used to wrap food in to keep it nice and fresh, and also store meat in the freezer to prevent freezer burn. So maybe people in the US may tell me that I'm wrong with this, but this is what I have been told. Anyway, it was quite amazing to me that somebody, whilst wrapping their meat, thought, wow, I can use this for patchwork and quilting. And thank you, clever person, because we're still using freezer paper today for our templates when it comes to applique and also with doing foundation paper piecing. Anyway, this is how it works. One side of the freezer paper is dull, just like regular printer paper, so you can print templates and applique shapes onto it. And the other side is shiny. So the shiny side has a plastic coating, and when the shiny side is ironed onto fabric, it temporarily sticks, and then when you peel it away, it doesn't leave any messy glue residue. And it's important to note that you can only use an inkjet printer to print onto freezer paper. You can't use a laser printer, as laser printers produce heat and it could melt the plastic and ruin your printer. Now you know what freezer paper is, let's get started. To demonstrate how to use freezer paper for foundation paper piecing, I'll be making the Flyaway Geese block from part 9 of our Time to Bloom course. This block is made up of 4 foundation paper piece units. Each unit has 3 flying geese that are flying away on a 45-degree angle. These units are then joined together with a simple cross pattern in the middle. Here are the pieces all cut out ready to sew. You'll notice that some squares are cut once on the diagonal, while others are cut twice on the diagonal to make smaller squares. To double check the size of the template, print out 1 page onto regular printer paper, ticking the actual size box. The template should measure 6.5 inches square. Now just before you go ahead and print onto freezer paper, I noticed when making my block that the freezer paper shrunk slightly. This is probably due to the heat from the iron. So I recommend testing your freezer paper first by cutting a 6.5 inch square. Put your iron on the cotton setting with no steam, then iron the shiny side of the freezer paper onto a scrap of cotton fabric. When it's cooled, peel it away and measure to see if there has been some shrinkage. My freezer paper shrunk slightly on one side, and on the other side it shrunk by 1/16 of an inch, which is about 2 millimeters. This is not ideal when you're trying to make accurate patchwork blocks. So if you found that your freezer paper did shrink, I suggest pre-shrinking it before you print on it. To do this, cut it to the same size as your printer paper. Iron the shiny side onto a scrap of fabric. When cooled, peel it away. It will now want to curl up, so flatten it out by rolling it the other way or sitting it under a heavy book. When the freezer paper is nice and flat, print the template onto the dull side. You'll only need to print 1 template onto freezer paper because you can use the same template to make all of the flying geese units for the Flyaway Geese block. You can basically keep using the same freezer paper template until it no longer sticks to fabric anymore. So here's our freezer paper template. You can see that every piece has a number and the fabric to use, and every line is in alphabetical order to guide you. Cut the freezer paper template out, cutting exactly on the outside line, as this is our 1/4 inch seam allowance around the edge of the block. To make folding the lines easy, trace over each line of the template with a tracing wheel, or pre-fold each line using a thin ruler to keep the lines accurate. So let's get set up to sew. Have everything close so that you don't have to keep getting up and down all the time. I have an ironing mat, I have my iron set on the cotton setting with no steam, I have a cutting mat and a ruler and a rotary cutter close by, and I have my sewing machine set up to just sew for piecing just in the usual way. So to get started, first of all, remember that the blank side of the paper is the right side. So locate where the number 1 piece is and then flip that over. So that's going to be a background piece. So we're going to take a background triangle and we're just going to put it in the number 1 space. Now the most important thing is to make sure that we're going to have enough space to be able to have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you can either hold that up to the light or you can use a light box just so that you can see through and make sure that everything's going to be okay. So I'm just going to show you how to use a light box. Here's the blank side of my paper and I'm just popping that onto the light box. You can now actually see the whole design through, but everything is back to front. And then I'm just popping my background triangle on. It's extending over the edge a little bit, and then I also have more than a 1/4 inch seam allowance extending over this line here, which is our first line, and that's line A. I'm now just going to hang on to that and take that over to the ironing mat to press. But remember, you can also just hold it up to the light to make sure that it's positioned correctly. Okay, so I'm just going to iron my background triangle with the right side facing up onto the blank side of the triangle. And the good thing is that the freezer paper is going to stick onto the fabric, and you know what, it's not a bad idea to also turn it upside down. So we're on the printed side and just give that a bit of an extra press. So turn your template to the printed side and fold back on line A, just like that. That will fold easily because I've rolled over it with a tracing wheel, or if you pre-folded, it will fold easily. And we're just going to trim a 1/4 inch away from the folded edge. Just like that. So now I'm just going to turn it to the fabric side. I was calling this a blank side, but I will now refer to it as the fabric side because it has the fabric on it. And our first piece is a light piece, and that's a triangle. So you can just position that and you know, okay, that's where my triangle is going to go, and then place it right sides together with our background piece. And then I'm going to hang on to everything like this while I head to the machine to sew. Okay, so at the machine, I'm just going to fold back on line A, and I'm going to sew exactly next to the fold of the paper. So I'm just using my standard foot, and it has a little mark in the center of it that I'm going to run along the edge of the fold of the paper, just so that I know that I'm sewing nice and straight. So I'm going to turn to the fabric side of the paper and open out the triangle, and I'm going to press that now. Now, if you wanted to set the seam, oftentimes you'll see in videos I do set the seam. You can do that, but just make sure that the iron never touches the shiny side of the freezer paper. So opening that out, making sure that there are no creases in our seam, and then pressing. And that's the advantage of the freezer paper, is that the fabric is going to stick on to the freezer paper. Sometimes I find that I turn it to the printed side just to give an extra press. So I'm back on the cutting mat now, and I have the printed side of the template facing up, and I'm going to fold back on line B. And I'm just going to trim a 1/4 inch away from the folded edge of the paper. Okay, so piece number 3 is a background, and that's another triangle. So I'm just going to position that like that so I know, okay, that's what's going to happen. So let's turn to the fabric side. There's my triangle. It has the straight edge running along the edge that's just been trimmed. I'm going to place that right sides together, and make sure that you center the triangle so that you have the same amount extending past each end of the trimmed edge. And I'm going to hang on to it like this and head over to the sewing machine. So now I'm just going to fold back on line B and sew nice and close to the edge of the fold. Okay, so now with the fabric side facing up, I'll just set that seam. As I said, that is optional. And I'm going to open out the triangle, make sure that there's no tiny creases in the seam, and give that a press, making sure that the iron does not touch the freezer paper. And I'm just going to flip that over to give it another press, just to make sure that the fabric has actually stuck to the freezer paper. And that's what it's looking like so far. So back at the cutting mat, I have the printed side of the template facing up, and I'm going to now fold back on line C. If the freezer paper is stuck onto the fabric where you're peeling back, just unpeel it. That's easy to do. And now I'm trimming 1/4 inch away from the folded edge. So now I'm just going to look at the template, and I can see that number 4 is another background triangle. So I'll just turn that over to the fabric side and grab another background triangle. This is a small background triangle. I'll have the straight grain running next to the edge that has just been trimmed, and I'll place that right sides together, making sure that I'm centering the triangle once again, so I have an even amount extending past each end of that nice trimmed edge. Hanging onto the pieces like this, flipping it, and heading to the sewing machine to sew. Now fold back on line C, and sew nice and close to the edge of the folded paper. Turn to the fabric side, and we're going to open out that triangle and press. And you can see we have 1 flying geese. I'm going to flip that over again just to give that a good press. And there we are. So it's just a matter of following those same steps. You'll be flipping the paper backwards and forwards, but following the numbers and the lettered lines. So have some fun, put on a podcast, listen to some music, and continue making your flying geese unit. So here's my complete flying geese unit. The great thing about foundation paper piecing is that the pieces turn out the correct size and you have nice accurate points. That was lots of fun to make, so go ahead and make another 3 so you have a total of 4 flying geese units. The next step is to join the medium coloured squares together with the background rectangles. Press the seams towards the darkest fabric. Now lay the units out to form the flyaway geese block. Separate into 3 rows and join the units in each row together. Now join the rows together to make the complete block. Sew on the background borders. Lay it together with the batting and backing, hold together with safety pins and quilt. You'll find the quilting instructions in the Part 9 Time to Bloom course notes. So I hope you enjoyed our first video for 2025. Laura and I had a lot of fun making it. And if you are joining in with the Time to Bloom course, don't stress if you are running behind. Everyone's working at different levels and it's all about just taking your time and enjoying the process and learning something new. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'd love to make it to 100k subscribers in 2025 and make lots more videos for you. Thanks again. Bye.